It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is StoryCon. I'm Regina Lake.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories are watching this Friday, June 5. The Sandigan Bayan has granted former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan's hospital arrest. In its June 4 resolution, the 5th Division cited Bonoan's age and medical condition. Bonoan previously submitted medical certificates stating that he suffers from several illnesses, including chronic kidney disease, severe coronary artery disease, and prostate cancer. The court ordered Bonoan to be confined at the PNP General Hospital in Campo Crame. The former official is facing a non-bailable plunder charge linked to the flood control scandal.
The United States has reportedly canceled the diplomatic and tourist visas of Leyte Representative and former Speaker Martin Romualdez. Earlier, the Sandigan Bayan denied Romualdez's motion to lift the precautionary hold departure order against him. Romualdez is facing possible plunder charges over the flood control mess, and he, of course, has since denied the allegations. Bit of a breathing room for Filipino consumers as headline inflation hit 6.8% this May. That's a drop from April's three-year high of 7.2%, although it is, of course, still a long way away from the 1.3% registered in May last year. State economists attribute the inflation slowdown to relief at the gas pumps, with transport price costs dropping significantly. Food and utilities also eased, bringing the year-to-date average inflation down to 4.5%.
Motorists may need to tighten their belts next week as a big-time oil price hike is expected. The Energy Department, the DOE Oil Industry Management Bureau projects diesel prices going up by as much as 6 pesos per liter and kerosene up by 8 pesos per liter. Gasoline, meanwhile, may slightly increase or remain unchanged. Oil Bureau Director Rino Abad says there might be supply tightness in June due to stabilization efforts tied to reserve adjustments in previous months.
Party list groups Akbayan and Magdalo launched the Risa Na 2028 movement today. The campaign seeks to rally national support behind Senator Risa Hontiveros' potential presidential bid 2 years from now. During the launch, speakers cited Hontiveros' experience as a lawmaker and her long-standing advocacy for good governance. Aside from Akbayan and Magdalo, a broad coalition of civil society groups, grassroots organizations, and sectors from youth, women, and labor also joined the event. Hontiveros has said she is seriously considering running for president in 2028.
And joining us this Friday, well, not joining us this Friday, is our resident political
Unpaid
conspirator.
hack
Conspirator. He's out conspiring right now.
or unpaid hack.
So Ronald Llamas is not with us today.
We are not paid hacks, but I can't speak for Ronald. Just kidding. But Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief, Amy Pamintuan.
Hi, Reg, and everybody.
Happy weekend.
Happy Friday.
Happy weekend.
O sino nasa front page mo,
Eventful
Amy?
kaya uli. Medyo kalmado yung no?
O sino nasa front page
Medyo
mo?
kalmado ngayong araw.
Sino nasa front page
Ay,
niyo?
Yung reaction dun sa special session, nagre-reklamo si Alan Peter. Gusto daw kontrolin ng Malacanang yung gusto ng kontrolin ng Malacanang yung legislative work by calling a special session kung sakasakali lang na manghihingi.
Apparently,
Yan ang reaction nila.
apparently, you're the only newspaper that he likes now.
But isn't that what the palace usually does when it wants Congress to pass legislation
alam naman niya yun yan ang problema.
Isn't that what usually
pwede naman
happens?
sila hindi mag-attend, di ba? Gusto mo mag-absent.
That is what usually happens, and that's why you call a special session when there are urgent national issues.
That the palace wants to pursue. That's why the president calls for a special session.
For example, I think they called special session during the COVID years. Niba, was it during the COVID years?
Yeah, several times for
Several
the
times.
budget, for
Mga
the
emergency.
even
Yung
for
last one is the budget.
even for the the Magna Carta for seafarers.
Oo.
Hindi naman special
Kailangan daw
session.
nung supplemental
Yeah.
budget.
May
eh.
special
They have to
session ba
pass.
yun?
Or
Parang,
yeah,
hindi ko na maalala. Last that
remember
I
it said-
recall was the budget.
there was a controversy before on when a president can call a special session. There was a big debate on whether it requires an emergency.
Yes, that
or,
I remember that debate over when he can actually
and
call.
one of the examples cited was wait, the Magna Carta was not an emergency. The same goes with what's the other one? Baka hindi special session.
Pero ngayon,
baka
kailangan
baka,
daw ng Malacanang ng supplemental budget. Ngayon. Bago mag-umpisa yung they're actually preparing the budget ngayon, yung mga departments.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there was a budget call already
Kaya-
previously. So
Kaya ewan natin. Tapos sabi niya, of course, si acting Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian, sinabi niya, ipapatawag daw ng Blue Ribbon, yung 18 Marines on Monday. Sinabi ni Sherwin and Erwin Tulfo, who heads the Blue Ribbon nitong new majority. Patawag din daw nila 18 Marines.
yeah, and that would be interesting if they do come in kasi there wasn't really much grilling.
Maki-question nila.
Yeah, there wasn't really much grilling yesterday.
And in fact, some people have pointed out na parang yung mga senador pa yung nagtatapos ng sentence.
Oo nga.
When the 18 Marines drift off and don't complete their sentences. Some people have pointed out na. But there wasn't much grilling, so they are gonna call them on Monday?
On Monday.
Supposed to be on Monday.
Sabi ni Erwin.
Yeah. And if everybody
Kaya,
if all the senators do attend, because I think everybody's been included already in the
Yeah.
Blue Ribbon, if all the senators do attend, then that's well and good. So you can have both pro-Marines and the critical Marines there in one chamber. So magtagisan sila ng talino doon. Kasi otherwise
Unless may mga mag-a-absent na naman
you'd
yun.
have supporters and you'd have critics na maghiwalay sila.
You don't have to be okay. Well, it's the same as when we interviewed Attorney Levy Baligot, right? You don't have to necessarily be a critic, but we just have to
You look at it with a critical eye.
fact check it. Yes,
So,
look at it with a critical
yeah.
eye and fact check it. For instance,
Yeah.
yung sinasabi nila na in total, if I understood it correctly, in total the cash that they delivered was amounted to over 800 billion pesos. And remember when a few months ago when Attorney Baligod was on the show, we were grilling him about how they exchanged that money, and he said some money changer in what building was it? I don't remember the building he said, but it was somewhere in
Doon sa may
Makati.
BGC yata yun, di ba?
Or
I think it was
changer.
Legazpi.
Makati. I remember
Makati.
it was.
I think it was Legazpi
But
Village.
wala din, I mean, he also wasn't able to present any proof for that. We're asking for mga resibo and how could a money changer possibly change the amount of money
lot
that
of
he
money.
was talking about without, for instance, triggering a report to the Bangko Central, for example. And in any case, some money changers usually you have to give them a heads up that you're going to change a certain large amount of money, diba? It's not like they have all that cash just sitting around. So anyways, let's
Saka,
see.
pwede nilang yung mga pagkakaiba, wag na nating sabihin inconsistencies, ha? Yung pagkakaiba dun sa original affidavit, saka tong mga sinabi kahapon.
Yes.
Kasi merong parang nagdagdag bawas, Merong nawala na mga lawmaker at may mga nadagdag.
Na hindi na
From the
mention
original.
yung iba, katulad ni Senator Legarda and the two,
And Mark
Senator
Villar.
Mark Villar. Yes, na hindi
Yeah.
na mention.
Tapos nadagdag daw yung yung mga member ng Justice Committee saka impeachment prosecution team, nadagdag sila. Pwede nilang tanungin, di ba? Yan lang naman ang yan lang naman ang gustong makita ng tao. Di tanungin natin.
Baka it's a
Ano
developing
mangyari?
story.
Dagdag bawas. Si Ami naman.
Di ba?
Dagdag bawas.
May
yung
nadagdag, may nabahos.
I guess
Diba?
maybe it's an evolving story. It's a developing story. Maybe they're piecing it together. I don't
Yung
know.
impeachment team, nagsalita din kanina, sabi, kung magkakaroon daw sila ng dalawang mga invitations from the two competing groups, ang sasagutin nila yung kela Win Gatchalian na mga invitations for the Mga related to the impeachment. Yan ang sinabi ng House kasi yun daw ang stand ng House leadership, di ba? They are recognizing the leadership of Win Gatchalian. So consistent sila.
That has a bearing, the fact that the House,
Yeah.
the other chamber of the House has already recognized
Yeah.
him.
And Malacanang.
And Malacanang.
And the IBP, the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. And the coalition group of Isang Bayan na maraming abogado. They are recognizing the quorum and the leadership change. Pero may nag-file din ng ngayon, ng case sa Supreme Court.
Yes.
Para lang ma-affirm yung quorum na yon, yung pagbibilang ng quorum. Yan. Si high school teacher John Baritaya, meron na siya mga final previously, di ba?
Yeah. Although I don't know what
He
happened to
wants,
those cases.
Hindi ko matandaan, Ed, ano yung dati niyang mga controversial issues din eh.
Siya rin nag-file.
Para magkaroon John Baritayang.
Masipag siya mag-file.
Dinala niya ngayon sa Supreme Court yung Senate quorum just for clarity. Kasi actionable na nangyari na eh.
Yung part na pag-file, mabilis lang yun.
What exactly did he ask for clarity with the Supreme Court?
Yung quorum nung 12.
Yeah, but
Quorum of 12.
kasi a quorum to transact business may be one thing, pero a quorum to change leadership may be another. I mean, we've seen some legal experts hinihimay yung dalawa na magkaiba eh. Kasi for example, in the Constitution...
Hindi ko pa nakikita yung Basta yung quorum lang daw yan.
Okay.
Issue of kung siguro kung ano yung bilang, kung ano yung basis, kasi yun ang sinabi ng Isang Bayan eh. Dahil wala si Bato, saka si Jinggoy, pwedeng ang computation will be 22. So tama daw yung 12. Yan ang sinabi ni Isang Bayan.
Which is the same argument as the IBP is pushing.
Kasi yung IBP, sinait lang yung yung
Avellino
versus
Okay.
Yung IBP, sinait nila.
Let's get another viewpoint on this. At this point, I want to bring in our first guest. We're talking to Attorney John Molo, constitutional law professor at the UP College of Law. Welcome back to StoryCon, Attorney.
Hi, sir.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Good
Attorney.
afternoon. Hi,
Hi,
Amy.
sir. Thanks for joining us again.
Hi, Regina.
There's a lot of sub-issues to hash out here. But yung June 3 happenings at the Senate, there's some legal questions there, no? So isa-isahin ko. First and foremost, were they allowed to have convened without the Senate President, pro tempore Majority Floor Leader, and Deputy Majority Floor Leader on that day?
Yeah, they're allowed. I mean, the legislative power is given directly to a body, and that body has its own rules. And then, although they may elect officers, that doesn't mean that the body itself cannot convene if the Senate President is not there.
Even if the 4 top officials are not there.
Yes, that's where the quorum requirement comes in.
Pero sir, what would trigger the authority to be given to anybody in, for example, the Senate to convene or to call a session? Sabihin natin wala lahat ng opisyal. Lahat sila minority. And sabihin natin 12 nga sila. So they have, at least on the surface, at least 50% of all the members of the chamber. What would trigger the grant of authority to any of the members of the minority?
Okay, let's reset that para ma-set natin yung baselines. We're talking about parliamentary proceedings.
Yes, sir.
As being used by a branch, one half of a branch of government. That's the Senate. So when you think about how parliamentary bodies work, the power is given to the body itself. It doesn't need a trigger because the power is exercised by a parliamentary body's majority. So even if you have officers, if a majority of that body meets and even the officer doesn't, again, going back to basic parliamentary principles, the majority will prevail.
Okay. Could they have, well, I guess the following question is related to that. Could they have declared all positions vacant? Were they allowed to do that?
Yes, rules of the Senate. That would be, since there's no specific rule to declare a motion to declare all seats vacant, but it's been done every time. It's actually treated as an ordinary motion. So section 87, 88 yan. So majority of those present ang mag-a-apply. Maybe para mas madali, going back from the start, in a parliamentary body, we can distinguish between ordinary business, the ordinary business of legislation, di ba ganyan? And then those instances where either the constitution or the rules of that body impose a higher requirement. So, meron kang regular majority, which we call a simple majority. Okay? And the way we interpret simple majority is simply a majority of those present. And then for the extraordinary instances stated by the Constitution or by the Senate rules or the House rules, you have requirements like absolute majorities or super majorities, the 2/3 vote requirement. Ganon. So, since they convened, they declared a quorum, and then they have a motion to declare all seats vacant, which is very important in terms of parliamentary steps. So medyo maayos yung pagkakalatag kasi nung proceeding nila eh. And I'm not surprised because the more senior senators are part of that block eh, sila Senator Lacson and especially former SP Soto is very good in parliamentary procedure. So yung pagkakalatag medyo systematic. So when they declared all seats vacant, that's actually it. All seats are vacant, and then unfortunately the other side wasn't there. They're supposed to fight it out in the plenary. So
Sir, when you say all seats vacant, does that include or could that include the Senate presidency?
yeah,
Yeah.
all seats. Kasi even if you dial back, each time nagpapalit talaga ng, we call it coup d'etat sa Senado, di ba? Nagpapalit ng Senate President. The sequence is always that. You do your caucuses. Whoever thinks they have the numbers, and then in reality, as it plays out on the record, meron lang magmo-motion to declare all seats vacant. And then the elections will follow. We just take it for granted that these things are a package. But actually, they're separate parliamentary steps eh. So ngayon lang medyo na-emphasize na magkahiwalayan yung elections that will follow once you vacate those seats.
Attorney, yung ang issue yung pag-convict mismo, it was made possible by the arrival of Chis Escudero.
Yeah.
Nagkaroon sila ng 12, kinompute nila yung quorum nila, it can be 12. Tapos, ang konsiderasyon nila for calling that session nga, dahil nagrereklamo na rin yung House, dahil hindi naman daw sila sinabihan na cancel yung session for 2 days, na which is against their rules ng Congress. So, kinonbin nila, magsisinidiya na sila. Tama ba yung basis na yon? Kaya nila yun para ituloy na natin dahil kailangan nating 2 days na tayong walang session, di man lang sinabihan yung House, merong mga naiipit, mga tao nandito. Tama yung basis na yon.
Yeah, I mean,
At dumating
actually that
naman
was
si Chis eh.
Yes, and medyo tama yun kasi actually we're facing a kind of a problem, a constitutional problem that the president himself had to, I think, make a comment already when being interviewed. Kasi up to 3 days ka lang na a Senate President hindi magko-call ng session. Umabot na 3 araw. Magsisinide, you cannot call a sinide just by a letter that has to be again done through the plenary. Now the other House of Congress is asking, hey, what's happening at the Senate? We have several pending legislation. Do something because we cannot go on sinide and no one there is willing to work. So yun yung totoong context nito. We have the executive saying that we have several military officers, several key legislation waiting. Why is the Senate not working? We have the House also asking the same thing. So ang problema, since the officers were not willing to call a session or as we call it sa layman, ayaw pumasok, merong nakakuha ng majority na willing pumasok. Okay? So, yung pumasok na majority, sila yung nag-declare ng quorum nila and then they decided to declare all seats vacant, which is the trigger actually under the rules. That was carried. And since it's treated as an ordinary motion, then you don't need an absolute majority for it.
So hindi interim yan kasi Alan Peter Cayetano is saying he is still the Senate President.
Well, former Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano
Yeah.
is a lawyer, and I'm sure he is very well versed in the rules. But unfortunately, at this point, there's only one way to get his office back. And that's in the plenary. If he feels he has a majority on his side, and he's the real majority, the records of the Senate will only reflect that there is a new majority, claiming to be the new majority. But if the side of former Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano does not appear in the plenary and brings those numbers, we cannot assume that he has the majority. Remember, this is a parliamentary body. You cannot assume facts that kakampi mo pa rin yung isang senador. It's always shifting. That's why biglaan na lang nagkakaroon ng kudeta sa Senado or sa Kongreso, di ba? So he may claim he has a majority, but there is only one way to prove that. Bring them to the plenary.
Kailangan nila mag-eleksyon ulit.
Kailangan nilang sumipot sa plenary because there's only one place where you can hold business in the Senate and have it reflected in the records. Hindi pwedeng Facebook Live. Sa plenaryo yan dapat gawin.
Sir, if 12 is enough to take out, to declare all the positions vacant, if 12 is 12 enough to also elect the other
No.
officers of the Senate?
No. Because removal, which is treated as simple ordinary business or ordinary motion, is different naman from electing a Senate President, which is governed by Article 6, Section 16.
Section 16 too.
And then it's also bolstered by the Senate's own rules, which is Rule 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kailangan
We can flash Rule 2
13
here.
yun because ang nakalagay doon, may word all. The presence of the word all members, a majority of all members. So the word all qualifies the simple majority as an absolute majority.
Yes, sir. That's Rule
Sa
2,
Senate
Section
President
2.
lang yon.
Yes,
Pero sir,
kasi yun yung nakalagay sa Constitution. But under Rule 2 kasi, to be fair lang, nakalagay the other officers. So I leave it to the Senate to inform us what are their current state of rules.
yes, sir. Ito nga, sir, Rule 2, Section 2 ng Senate Rules, published, the latest publication was in March of 2025. The officers
Yeah.
of the Senate shall be elected by the majority vote of all its members. So, in other words,
Yes.
this should be 13 at least for you to be able to elect. Pero nga
Tama.
hindi lang Senate President dito kasi the officers of the Senate
Yes.
I guess the difference that Attorney Molo is saying is wala siya sa Constitution. So it's up to them to decide since it's an internal matter. They have to decide.
And then there's also a rule on how you can amend that. Okay?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
since it's not a rule in issue yet, ayokong pasukin on my own.
Yes, sir.
We have to let the Senate play it out.
But even within the Senate, to amend its rules, it has to follow a process in the rules.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that includes yun nga,
There
that,
is.
that,
There
that
is.
long drawn out process which we saw already when they tried to amend the rules to allow for online voting. But sir, let me go back to that. In Section 2, Rule 2, dun sa election ng officers of the Senate, at least on the surface, it does sound like here that hindi lang yung SP, pati yung pro tempore and the majority leader and the deputies and possibly even, I don't know, possibly even the chairman of the committees?
You are correct. Based on that rule, it seems like it's not just the Senate President. So ako kasi hinintay ko yung official na ano ba talaga yung ginawa nila sa record. So we can see.
Pero
kung ano
sinasite nila yung it's a Supreme Court ruling Yung Avellino versus Cuenco.
Yeah, that's with respect to the quorum. But kasi, again,
Yeah.
the issue of a quorum, whether we can convene the body to do business is different from whether we can elect new officers, is also different from whether we can vacate all the seats. Quorum, safe. Vacate all the seats, safe. Elect new officers, depende kung ano yung ginawa nila. Hindi ko pa makita yung papel So I will have to look at what was actually passed as a
Kasi
resolution.
paano ka magko-convene kung walang officer? Wala nga lahat ng officer Paano
Meron
na?
namang presiding officer. So the majority can have their presiding officer din naman. Those who are present.
So sir, even yung position ngayon ni Win Gatchalian and all the new officers of the Senate as elected by the new majority, even that now is debatable. At least debatable.
You can say it's debatable, right? Kaya nga ako, I'm interested in what the actual minutes and what the actual paper was passed. I don't want to preempt the Senate because I'm sure they have something there. Maraming abogado din dyan. But up to the point that they had vacated all seats and then they elected a presiding officer, I think medyo talagang safe yan.
Yun, sureball yun.
Yung doon naman sa point na meron na bang Senate President na bago, I think sila mismo nagsasabi wala pa. Now, the
Yeah.
other officers, that would be the gray area.
Yeah. Kasi sir, even Tito Soto has been very careful that they are not going to try to elect a new Senate President with
Yeah.
without 13 votes. Even they are careful about that.
Yeah. Yes. I can understand why he's very careful. Kasi, I mean, Tito Soto has been there for a long time. So I know where he's coming from, di ba? Parang alam niya din naman yung limits ng rules.
Pero kung dineclare na nila yung mga position na vacant, di wala na yung mga officers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Kaya nga, I'm really interested kung ano yung
Diba?
Yeah.
nakalagay
So-
sa...
Power of horse sa vacuum, di ba? Paano aandar yung Senado kung walang mga nakapwesto doon?
That's
Someone has to
precisely
take
what the
charge.
Supreme Court said in Avellino versus Cuenco as a
Yeah.
practical reality.
But it
So,
sounds like the only murky area here is whether or not they could have replaced Alan Peter Cayetano as Senate President. So to recap, what you're saying was, could they have convened without Alan Peter? Yes, that's covered. Could they have called quorum? Yes, because the Constitution's Article 6, Section 16 says the majority of the members. It does not say all of the members. And yung president nga is Avellino v. Cuenco, which counted 12 as a quorum, enough for quorum back in 1949 when other senators were unavailable. Can they elect a new SP? That is the part that we're debating right now, because
Yeah.
Rule 2, Section 2 of the Internal Rules of the Senate says that an SP shall be elected by a majority vote of all its members. And in fact, Rule 2, Section 2 goes so far as to include all the officers of the Senate chamber in the election. Kailangan majority vote of all
13.
its members. That word is not there in the Constitution, Article 6, Section 16 of the Constitution. And we already know at this point, as other legal luminaries have said, the law abhors a vacuum. The court will always lean towards allowing the chamber to conduct its business so it does not get paralyzed and so on. Pero now
just to be clear, I'm not saying that Alan Peter Cayetano was not removed as Senate President, because that's part of declaring seats vacant. So that's
Vacant
done.
na eh.
Kumaga, that's done.
Yeah.
so
Whether or not there is a new Senate President, yun na lang ang natitirang tanong.
so
Wala pa namang sinasabi sila, yung the new majority, wala naman silang sinasabing meron ng
Yes.
regular Senate President. Kaya nga acting lang tawag nila kaya, no?
Yeah,
Presiding
because-
officer nga ang tawag sa kanya ng iba eh.
Well, okay, sige. My thinking is kasi people are casual with the word Senate pro tempore, okay, as an officer. But pro tempore actually is a phrase that means in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's why I'm waiting kung ano yung actual resolution, ano yung kanilang ano. Kasi I want to understand what is the real capacity of the pro tempore that is presiding right now.
is
Okay?
there
So is it in the capacity of Rule 2? Is it in the capacity of a pro tempore in that traditional sense? But I defer to the Senate because the Senate, there's only one body who can tell us who its officers are. That's the Senate itself. So right now, the Senate has told the nation and the President, the executive branch, the House of Representatives has recognized it. They told all of us, and it was been recognized, that we have a new set of officers. We remove our old one. So
Yeah.
parang, who's gonna say na hindi?
the other side.
Then they have to go to the plenary to do it.
Isn't that a gap, a loophole, attorney? Because in the Constitution, Article 6, Section 16(2), which is related to the Avellino Doctrine, as we were talking about, seems to say that the base number for quorum can be adjusted to exclude senators that are beyond the jurisdiction of the chamber, i.e., you can't compel them to come back and conduct business or carry out their legislative duties. But same article, section 16(1), does say to elect a Senate president, you need a majority of all its members. And now we have the situation wherein, yes, you can declare his seat, Alan Peter Cayetano's seat, vacant, but you can't elect a new Senate president. Isn't that a loophole here? Isn't that a gap in the law?
Well, I mean, sa akin, not really. I mean, this is how a parliamentary system is supposed to work. I mean, even if you're presidential, these are parliamentary rules. You build coalitions. You have a weekend to get one senator to jump. The republic is not to go to hell because of just one weekend. What matters is that the crisis that preceded it, caused by the former officers, has been addressed. Legislation is working again, everything. Now,
Yeah.
if over the weekend the new consensus builders will be able to get one more vote to put, then everything, all of this will be moot. Diba?
Yeah.
So, but there have always been points in history where, okay, we need to decide. Kaya nga maraming kaso on Senate elections or House elections. I recall there was a time, the late Congressman Lagman even filed a case in the Supreme Court asking the Supreme Court to determine who is the legitimate minority. The Supreme Court said that, hey, we are not in the business of interfering in the elections of Congress. Kaya nyo na yan. Which is true. I mean, who the officers of each house of Congress is left to both houses of Congress. You're all parliamentarians. You decide amongst yourselves and then inform the country. That's how we approach it. But it's not really a gap that's gonna lead the republic to die because apparently there's a new majority already. And the only way to really overturn the claim of that new majority to their numbers is to present your own numbers in the plenary. Now, that's how it works. So, I mean, people are throwing words like constitutional crisis, but I don't see a constitutional crisis anymore since
Yeah.
the legislature is working again, and the only contention is coming from people outside the plenary who don't want to appear in the plenary. That's going to be their problem. If they say they're the majority still, then how come they cannot go to the plenary? It will all be solved by a simple matter. Even yung nagsasabi, oh, only the Supreme Court can resolve this. The Supreme Court, I mean, ganito na lang. When you're in the Senate or the House, it's really a battle between all sides. Since we're a multi-party system, it's a battle of parliamentary procedure. So if you want to battle it out in legislation or maybe in the election of officers, you have to slug it out. You cannot cede that ground and be absent for several days. And then when a new majority coalesces without you, you complain and say, hey, that's not fair. You have to go back to the battle inside the halls of Congress and fight it out there. And also, after being absent and losing your majority, because tumawid na nga si Senator Escudero, you cannot then turn around and ask the Supreme Court, hey, Supreme Court, help me out here and tell them I'm still the majority.
Yeah.
You have to do it inside the halls of Congress.
Yes, sir.
In the meantime, pinag-uusapan ngayon na magtawag si President Marcos ng special session just to get some of the derailed pieces of legislation going sa legislative work. Ano ba yung impact talaga nun? Can you tell us about it?
Well, the power of the president. Okay, I heard you talking right before I came in that there's an
Nagrereklamo si
allegation
Alan
that
Peter,
nangingialam ang presidente. Hindi nangingialam ang presidente kasi under the Constitution, the power to call a special session is given to the president.
Yeah.
Okay, as he may deem necessary. In fact, wala nga yung as he may deem necessary sa presidente. If the president can call a special session anytime under Article 6, Section 15, then that's up to him. Now, it's also up to the houses of Congress whether they will heed the call for a special session. But apparently, I heard from you that the House of
They will.
Representatives have already
Yung
said
House, they
yes.
will.
And if the Senate also says yes and they all agree, who are we to now interfere there? Even I don't have a personality to say, hey, you cannot call a special session. Under the Constitution, it's all under the President's call. And then if both houses of Congress agree, then a special session happens.
Sir,
Pero yung message doon, of course, greater recognition by the executive of the new group of Senate leaders, no?
Yes, that's very important. This is politics. This is parliamentary procedure playing out. A change in leadership in any house of Congress is normal. We've seen it several times. Sometimes contentious, sometimes nagiging magulo. This is a blip in constitutional history. Now, what matters is that the executive branch has recognized it, and I believe the House has recognized it. You said that the IBP has recognized it as well.
Yeah.
If that's true, then that means the legal community is parang sa international law yan. Pag merong bagong presidente ng isang bansa tapos nare-recognize na, that has to have weight. You know, there's only one way to undo what happened in June 3. The side of the Cayetano bloc has to go to the plenary and say that, hey, we are the majority and this is our numbers. If they can do that under our democratic system, they're the new majority. And he will be back as Senate President.
in Abilino versus Cuenco, sir, if I read it right, even the Supreme Court then did not want to rule on who
The Senate
really
President.
is the leader of the Senate.
Yes.
Even though it
Agree.
did decide on the quorum.
Okay, just to be fair, himayin natin yung Avellino. Just to be fair, Avellino versus Cuenco is not a decision on quorum. Tinuturo namin sa law school as a decision on political questions. Meaning, ang totoong ruling ng Supreme Court dyan na we do not want to interfere in the election of Senate President. Okay, and they've done that several times in other cases. The Supreme Court does not interfere in the elections of both houses of Congress. That's what we teach Avellino versus Cuenco for. Now, the curious thing there is that the Supreme Court itself was very divided. Four justices said there's a quorum for purposes of doing business. Another four said there's no quorum. And then two justices even said that, you know what, we have no jurisdiction over this. With a voting like that, you have six justices who decline absolutely to touch the quorum. That should have ended na parang, okay, political question to, wala na kaming sasabihin. Ang problema lang, may sinabi sila, tapos medyo madami. So yun yung kino-quote nowadays. To be fair and to be frank, that's not doctrinal. There is no Avellino doctrine per se. There's no Avellino doctrine. There's no Avellino rule. Okay? Just to be fair, it's obiter. However, curiously, after Avellino was promulgated, several Supreme Court decisions that came after kept on citing Avellino when deciding issues of quorum. So that's where all of this is coming from. Technically, the decision itself is obiter on quorum. However, after it was decided, several Supreme Court decisions kept on citing Avellino as authority on quorum. So, para lang medyo baka naguguluhan din yung taong bayan, bakit both sides
I
ganito.
think so.
Well,
Oo.
ito yung both sides. Ito yung buong katotohanan. Obiter talaga yan, pero after kasi ipasa ng Supreme Court, yung Supreme Court din mismo, throughout the years, sinasite siya for matters of quorum. So, nagkaroon talaga ng medyo inconsistency there.
So
Kaya
when you
both
say-
sides nagag...
Yes, sir. Sir, when you say obiter lang siya, by that I suppose you mean na it is not the main case. It's by the way.
It's a by the way, and pag when a portion of the decision is declared obiter, it has no binding precedent. That's no effect as a binding precedent. So we don't use it, for example, if I have a case, I don't really use it as determinative of what will happen to my case.
It's just
It's persuasive, maybe,
it's an opinion.
but not binding precedent.
So should we be quoting
Avellino v. Cuenco.
then?
I'm not. I'm focusing more on the fact that I use Avellino again as a political question case. And this is a classic question kasi of a political question, what we're having right now. So I approach it that who is the question is propounded to the country. Who is the current Senate president? That's up to the senators. Okay, who has the majority? If the Cayetano bloc says that they have a greater majority, they have to go to the floor, right? No, the Supreme Court cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. You cannot use the Supreme Court to fight your battles for you. To be fair to the Supreme Court, they're a judicial body. They're not an COMELEC, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang,
Yeah.
not even the COMELEC does that. So much less the Supreme Court.
It's a great reminder that that case was actually denied. Yung petition na yon, 6-4, and 1 abstained. 1 was not there. 6 voted to deny. So it's not Avellino v. Cuenco was not a decision on quorum. That's, I think, what a lot of people need to hear, because it's come up and now there's a lot of debates online. And I think people assume that it is a precedent. It's jurisprudence.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately it's not. It's useful for political questions, and which is this incident is a political question, so it's useful for this incident, but not determinative as to quorum.
So
The quorum issue is actually answered by Rule 44 of the Senate rules anyway, which imposes a simple majority. So I don't need to go to Cuenco. I mean, Section
Ano yung Rule
44
44?
of the Senate rules.
Rule 44, ano na nga yun? Ano na?
Yung section 44 of the Senate rules
Yeah.
defines how you get a quorum.
Oo.
So section
Ano?
44 begins with the statement, except during the elections of officers as defined under section 2. So why did they put that? They were trying to make it clear that this is for ordinary business. If you're not gonna elect officers, ito gagamitin nyo, section 44. Section 44, if you read it, imposes a simple majority. So in-emphasize niya na, okay, if other business except electing a Senate President, ito gamitin nyo, simple majority. If mag-elect ka ng bagong Senate President, refer to section 2.
Pero sir,
Yung committee chairmanships. Sa committee chairmanships, kasama ba
Yeah.
yun dun sa other? Pwede yun.
Yeah, kasi the general rule in Parliament is really you just need simple majorities.
Yeah.
Oo.
So, pwede.
Absolute majority is actually an exception.
Oo.
I mean, ano yan? Sometimes out of a body of 100, 60 lang yung papasok. So a simple majority means that the majority of 60 na pumasok, yun ang mag-apply. That's normal for parliamentary bodies.
Pero sir, going back to the question of quorum dun sa Avellino versus Cuenco, kasi we've had so many people, including like for example, there's a statement from the law deans, professors of juridical science and all that. Even they're quoting Avellino and Cuenco, also the IBP, and so many other so-called legal experts have been quoting Avellino versus Cuenco.
Versus.
So,
saying that
is it worth quoting, or is it to be discarded?
Avellino versus Cuenco is taught in all law schools, again, for political questions. Now,
sir.
if you're gonna use it for quorum, I'm not so sure about that. But I'm not saying that the people who use it right now are absolutely wrong. I haven't really read what they said, I have to confess. So, for me lang kasi, this question will benefit from Avellino versus Cuenco as authority for avoiding political questions. Because quorum by itself is already addressed by the power of the Senate and under its Senate rules. So I think it's on, kaya nga para sa akin parang the June 3 session is on safe ground naman eh. So parang I'm not really that concerned about it.
Under the Senate's own rules.
Yeah.
Under
oo.
Rule
And
44
if you
of
want
the
to use
Senate.
Avellino versus Cuenco to bolster it, that's
Yeah.
allowed din naman. But I won't use it as kasi ako litigator ako eh, and I actually have to check if I can actually use the case in court. I won't use it as my first line of defense. Let's put it that
Okay.
way. Maybe I'll put it as my second or third. Kasi I'll stand by the rules and the text of the Constitution. Medyo safe naman ako doon.
Yes, sir. Kasi nga itong statement of law
okay.
deans and professors, they were quoting Abilino versus Cuenco on particularly on the portion about the quorum, not on the political question. It cited that particular paragraph where hinimay ng Abilino versus Cuenco yung majority of the House versus majority of all the members of the House, and made that
Oh yeah,
distinction.
that's valid naman. Kasi there's a portion in Avellino versus Cuenco where the four members of the court, and I know this because the text of the decision itself says, oh, by the way, if you're interested, four of our justices actually believe this,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Even if it's not binding. Ganun yung pagkakasulat niya. Tama yun.
But again,
Tama
it's
yun.
obiter.
Nandun sa decision yon. Ngayon, ang tanong lang naman din kasi, is it gonna be Now, may nag-file na sa Supreme Court, sabi ni Amy kanina.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
When this comes to the Supreme Court, ilalabas din ng justices kasi yan eh. You know what? Avellino is not binding precedent. So, for me, just to be fair, since alam ko namang lalabas din yan later on, might as well say that, okay, these are the pitfalls of relying on Avellino fully. But you can still use it because it's a Supreme Court decision. It's there.
Oh.
And to be fair, the Supreme Court itself, in subsequent decisions,
Assessed it.
kept citing Avellino for purposes of
Yeah.
quorum. Kaya nga sabi ko, kaya nalilito din kami kasi parang, teka muna, ano ba talaga? So, the way I appreciated the discourse online kung bakit both sides talaga nagsasite yan and hindi, is because I can see some actors are cherry-picking deliberately. But just to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, there is also some confusion because of the way the Supreme Court used Avellino after they promulgated it, which causes some confusion as well.
But again, it's just obiter.
Kasi nagamit uli siya nung
obiter.
di ba? In another case, I think 2015 ba yun, Ed? Or,
Marami po,
ano year yun?
Ma'am
May 15
Amy,
na.
paulit-ulit siyang
Several
sinasite.
times.
Pero yun nga parang okay, is this binding now or not? Di ba?
Oo. Yung mga ibang Supreme Court, yung subsequent Supreme Court rulings, hindi ba pwedeng
They-
i-cite yun na jurisprudence?
As an advocate's position, posible.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying that as an advocate's position. When I say as an advocate's position, I'm taking a very strong position based on my personal view. Okay? So I just need to be honest. That's an advocate's position already.
Yeah.
Hindi siya baseline position. Kumbaga na, what does the Constitution say based on special sessions? Yun, madali kong sagutin.
But-
President decides.
But again, your
Yung
point...
tanong mo, Amy, advocate's position yung sagot ko doon.
But again, your point being, hindi naman kailangan ng Avellino v. Cuenco.
Yeah.
Rule 44
Yeah,
of the
malakas
Senate
naman
rules.
kasi yung posisyon ng June 3.
Yeah.
And if you want to put it in as one of your arguments, okay din yun.
Hindi.
Kasi I mean,
Oh.
Pandagdag lang siya.
pandagdag. I mean, wala namang
No, but-
masama
but
kung
if
magdagdag
you-
ka ng maraming arguments,
Oh,
right?
If
But,
you read the initial statements of the
Totoo.
lawmakers of the so-called new majority shortly after they did that, that was the core of the argument, which is this has precedent in Avellino v. Cuenco, and that's how we ended up debating this case. Na yun nga, as you pointed out, 6-4 naman pala. The petition was denied, and only 4 of the judges said, by the way, quorum can be constituted with 12, and that's an obiter. That's not the decision itself. So
I can qualify that, Reg. What the statement that I heard from the presiding officer, Gatchalian, was that there is precedent citing Avellino. The precedent he was referring to, I believe, is the 2015 records of the Senate,
Yeah.
wherein that case was cited. So what he was actually citing was Senate precedent. As a parliamentary body, they're allowed to do that. That within their own tradition and rules,
Why-
this has been done before. That's very powerful for them.
Is it curious to you that nobody has cited Rule 44 of the Senate if, as you say, it's right there, that it needs to be a simple
Lalabas
majority?
naman yan sa litigation, I'm sure. If there's gonna be litigation, I'm sure lalabas naman yan. It's just that everybody's talking about Avellino right now.
Kaya nga eh.
I mean, you have to give it to us lawyers. We're kind of nerdy about our cases. So we like that. And then, I mean, this is a very interesting case as well because it's like parang history repeats itself, right? So
Actually, the precedent that you're talking about on May 15, 2025, there were 3 senators that were detained. One of them was Senator Jinggoy Estrada. So parang we really are repeating ourselves.
well, if you want to talk about history, look at Avelino v. Cuenco. One of the senators involved was a Soto.
Yeah.
Yes.
And therefore, I'm quite confident that former Senate President Tito Soto
Yeah, he
is
studied
aware of that precedent and how that played out. That's why yung pagkakalatag niya ng procedure dito, malinis yan. Ano yan, inaral niya yan.
Ayun.
Should the Supreme Court intervene in this case? I mean, the other arguments that I've heard against Avelino were that it's no longer valid because it was 1949, and obviously that was patterned after the 35 Constitution, and that's no longer valid. We have a new Constitution. But we also know the Supreme Court is allergic to intervening in other branches of government's internal affairs.
You know, Supreme Court precedents do not completely lose their value just because they came from a different constitution. We have to check whether or not the provision concerned is markedly different from the 1987 Constitution. So, medyo linawin ko lang yon. Okay? Just because it's 1949, 1978, hindi ibig sabihin tinatapon na namin yan. Okay? So, depende yan sa provision concerned. Second, the Supreme Court, well, my problem here essentially, I cannot tell the Supreme Court whether it's wise for them to intervene. That's their discretion. Okay? And baka ma-disbar pa ako niyan. As a litigation strategy lang here is that you have to remember that although there is expanded judicial review, and I've seen this bandied about online, merong expanded judicial review. Expanded judicial review still requires something in order to be triggered. Grave abuse of discretion.
Yeah.
So, anyone going to the Supreme Court has to satisfy the Supreme Court that in this case, there is grave abuse of discretion. So where is the grave of abuse of discretion here? You remember, grave abuse of discretion is not simple abuse or not simple mistake or error of judgment. It's a term of art.
Right.
By definition, it has to be whimsical, arbitrary. So ang tanong, in the context of what happened in the Senate, who was being whimsical? Who was being arbitrary? The president was panicking because military officials' appointments, legislation was being held back. The House of Representatives was also concerned because magsisinidye na. A majority is cobbled together because may tumawid and decided to put the Senate back in business. So whoever's gonna argue this will have to convince the court that what happened was a grave abuse of discretion. That's a grave abuse of discretion.
Yun yung threshold.
The better part would have been to just let this thing continue. Yun yung first hurdle mo. Without grave abuse of discretion, the Supreme Court will not have an opportunity to So, ang laking burden nun medyo baka akala lang ng mga tao, basta lang mag-file sa Supreme Court, tatanggapin. The Supreme Court has many jurisdictional hurdles na kailangan mo lagpasan.
That's true. Okay. We'll leave that there. Thanks so much for talking to us and explaining all of that. Constitutional Law Professor, Attorney John Molo.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney.
I feel very enlightened now. Learned ka na ba? You're watching StoryCon
Learned.
We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.
We've got developing news in the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to StoryCon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Regina Lay, still with us. I'm Mipa Mintungan of the Philippine Star. Let's now bring in our second guest today. We're talking to NBI Director Melvin Matibag. Good afternoon, Director. Welcome back to StoryCon.
Good afternoon po, Sir Ed, Ma'am Ami, and to all your listeners and viewers. Magandang hapon po.
Good afternoon, sir. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Attorney.
Thank you for joining us.
Kamusta po kayo?
Sir, makibalita muna kami.
Thank you po.
Any word on
Oo
where
nga.
Bato is right now? Kasi may mga bali-balita that he's floating around somewhere.
Nasa yate daw,
Well,
yate.
Well, those are information na nakakarating din po. And rest assured that every information po na dumarating sa amin, we will take it as a lead and we will make an action on that. Titingnan po natin kung positive po yung mga lead na yan. And hoping na positive talaga para po we can effect the arrest. Pero other than that, na nasa yate or what, meron din pong ibang informations pa namin din pong sinusatlan.
Director, this is Reg. You mean to say you haven't checked out that lead? Kasi pareho kami, I mean I are in different newsrooms, but we both heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Alam niyo po, yung kasi pong problema natin isa dyan, yung mga ganyan po na information, we don't do it publicly, especially po na we are under surveillance and under verification and validation. But it doesn't mean na hindi po namin sinusundan o hindi po natin ginagawa na po.
O sige, Attorney, tanong ko na lang yung ano, yung sinabi ninyo na may balita kayo, balita lang naman, na yung 18 former soldiers na humarap kahapon dun sa Senado, mukhang nabayaran yata ng 5 million each. Can you give us more details about it?
Ayan po. Let's correct that. No? Hindi, ang akin pong sinabi, hindi nabayaran. Kundi, there is an allegation na nirecruit nila yung 18 Marines with the promise na bibigyan sila ng tagpa 5 million. Well, in particular po, yung isang taong sinasabi na kasambahay nito, yung nagtitistigo, ang unang pangako, out of 5 million, 700,000 muna, pero hanggang ngayon po, ang nabibigay pa lang daw is 350,000. So, kaya po, yun po yung istorya. Medyo hindi po na-pick up ng maayos siguro ng ibang nagbabalita, pero yun po yung eksaktong sinabi ko po.
Yes, sir. Well, sir, actually, I've read the affidavit, although redacted nga yung mga pertinent portions. Pero in reading through the affidavit, was there anything there that can constitute a crime or a violation of law, which would bring in the NBI?
Well, kung totoo po na hinihingan ng tistig ng affidavit na may bayad, meron pong haharapin sa revised penal code dyan, maaari pong perjury. Saka meron din po pwede rin maging mangyari niyan is obstruction of justice dahil nililigo po at saka po false testimony. Marami pong mga pwede maya. Kaya nga po natin pinapasabi na si Mike Defensor at saka yung tao po na Maris na binanggit, ang gusto po natin magbigay linaw po at sagutin po at matanong natin sila tungkol po dun sa inisyu po na affidavit ng tao na yan.
Yes, sir.
Dapat unawaan na yung pong pag-issue namin ng subpoena, hindi nangangahulugan ka agad na suspect ka na ikaw nang pinagbibintangan. It's more on a finding po, tsaka po to give testimony, clear the issue. Ngayon, kung ang aligasyon pa nga sa kanya dahil sinumpaan yun at tina-aligasyon na siya ng gano'n at hindi naman pa totoo, tutulungan pa po natin siya ng NBI na mag-pursue ng kaso doon sa taong nagbibigay ng testimonya laban po sa kanya.
I asked that kasi in reading the affidavit, ang sabi rin doon kasi supposedly ang sabi ng is it Afayant? Tama ba? Afayant?
Fiant.
Opo.
Ang sabi ng Afayant ang sabi raw sa kanya ng dating Marine ang hinihila naman sa akin sabihin ko anong nalalaman ko. At ang kapalit niyan ay tulong dahil wala kaming trabaho ngayon.
Well, ganun pa rin po, magka-qualify pa rin po, maaari pa rin mag-fall under doon sa crime. Kasi yung pong pag-testimonya na ganyan, hindi naman po dapat binabayaran ng ganyan eh. Ngayon, lalo na po, kung yung itinestimonya hindi mapapatunayan at wala kang personal knowledge doon sa sinasabi mo at sumali ka, lalo po may krimen na pananagutan.
You refer to the Marines, yung mga former Marines.
Tama po.
I'm sure you're aware, Director, that everything that you have, accused former Congressman Mike Defensor of, he has denied. from yung the KTV bar raid to this one, yung the Marines getting offered cash. Whether the amount was 5 million or 350 or 700,000, I don't know, but dinenay na rin niya yan sa sister program namin with Ted Filon and DJ Chacha. And you already know, I'm sure, that he says that this is all political persecution, na tinatarget lang sila ng administrasyon.
Well, okay. Mga Ami, unang-una po, hindi ko po siya inaakusahan dito sa 5 million. Ang sinasabi ko po, merong nagtestimonya na sinasabi ay siya ang nag-offer na magbabayad ng 5 million. Yun po. Pangalawa po, yun naman po tungkol sa KTV, wala naman po tayong akusasyon din ginagawa sa kanya, kundi kinasuhan na po natin yung asawa at anak po niya. Kasi po sa dokumento at ebidensyang nakuha. At sinasabi ko, eventually, masasama rin siya sa kaso dahil yung mga ebidensya po namin hinihimay ngayon, tinuturo rin po siya. Ngayon, hindi naman po dahil ikaw ay nakausahan at naibasyan, at dahil involved ka ngayon sa politika, sasabihin mo, political yan. Magkaiba naman po yan eh. Ngayon kung aktibo ka sa politika, napakarami naman po aktibo sa politika na hindi naman nakakasuhan eh. Dahil wala naman po ginagawang illegal, kundi expressing lang yung political beliefs po niya. Pero yung sa kanya po, meron tayong nakitang ebidensya, meron po tayong nahuli, kailangan harapin po ang pananagutan po sa batas.
Ano yung liability with the if you so you're investigating the tip that inofferan ng pera tong mga 18 former, I don't even know what to call them, by the way, because as we were talking, I got a
Former
message.
soldiers.
Well, I got a message from AFP spokesperson Colonel Sherces Trinidad. Sabi, some reports have collectively described them as Marines or ex-Marines, but it's important to note that they were no longer in active military service and that some of them were not even Marines. So hindi ko na rin alam ano
Marines.
tawagin sa kanila. Basta yung
Yeah.
18 so-called former
soldiers
Marines.
lang.
So, yung Philippine Marines, Philippine Navy, and now the AFP has all said that not all of them were ex-Marines. But in any case, ano yung liability doon? So now you're investigating that. What is the liability of former Congressman Defensor here?
Well, kung mapapatunayan po na yung mga testimonya ng mga Marines na yan ay walang katotohanan, dahil meron pong mga mali na testimonya, he will be liable for encouraging a person to render false testimony. So, yun po yun ang mangyayari dyan. Depende pa po dun sa degree kung paano niya ginawa. So, at the very least, meron pong responsibility.
Criminal ano ba yun? Hindi ko kabisado yung ano yun, yung offense na yun.
To testify to another person na mali yung testimony niya o ma-prosecute yung tao na yan, meron pong pananagutan sa revised penal code po yan.
I understand subpoenas have been
okay.
already released for the ex-Marine and I think also for Mike Defensor. Sir, itong mga subpoena na to, do they provide for mandatory appearance or non-mandatory appearance?
Well, wala po kaming contempt power, no? Malinaw naman po yan. Pero, yan nga sinasabi ko, kung talagang gusto magkaroon po ng linaw ni Congressman Mike Defensor, dapat po humarap ka siya. Kung wala ka naman pong tataguin, di harapin mo po dahil pag nagpadala po ng subpoena ng isang authority, we are somehow under obligation to appear and to shed light and to give and to answer clarificatory questions. And kung accused ka naman at palagay mo akusado ka, you can bring your lawyers. And if you cannot afford yung lawyer, we can provide somebody na lawyer to assist him.
Sir, cambio ko ng konti. Kasi si Montulfo, I'm sure you know Montulfo, meron siyang pinost online, supposedly, may meeting daw yung mga PNP regional director sa Campo Crame dahil meron daw niluluto yung opposition to Malacanang na plan to storm Malacanang by pro-Sara groups on June 12, coinciding with Independence Day. Of course, this is PNP. But I'd like to ask if you know any information along these lines, if you've had any Tweety birds whispering in your ear about this.
Well, narinig ko rin lang po na galing kay Sir Montulfo. Pero official information or intelligence report, wala naman po akong natatanggap na ganyang report po.
Wala
But of
kayong,
course, that is something
Yes, sir.
that is something that we need to give attention as well. Tingnan pa rin po natin at maging mapagmasid at handa pa rin po tayo sa mga ganyang sitwasyon.
Wala kayong natitimbrehan? Wala kayong no vibrations on the ground? Nothing?
Wala naman pong ganun pa na report. Ano po? Except yan nga lang po, narinig ko rin lang galing po
May
kayo.
napulot din akong ganyang chismis from a reliable source. Pati yung venue,
Well, if that is the
balak daw
case, kami
mukhang
po, we will
mukhang
also prepare.
magmamarcha daw mukhang magmamarcha from Rizal Park to Malacanang. Yan yung chismis na nasagap ko lang naman. Pero medyo reliable yung chismoso.
Huwag mo tawagin chismoso kung gano'n.
Nagsabi sa akin.
Hindi naman si Secretary Ronald Llamas yan, ha?
Well, sir, he's
Wala
not
nga,
here right
wala
now. He's
nga
conspiring
ngayon.
elsewhere.
May nag-instigate siya somewhere else. But related to that, Director, parang, I mean, there was yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes, nagkaroon na naman ng tulakan sa Senado, no? There's another bit of small trouble, minor trouble, coming on the heels of the shooting incident. And then naka-question din yung presence ni Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla doon sa Senado. Could you talk us through what you guys are doing around there? Anong balak niyo doon sa Senado?
Well, wala po kaming personal or mobilization sa Senate. Ano po? I think kaya nandun si Secretary John Vic, he was asked by Acting Senate President Ping Gatchalian to provide additional security, and he responded because it's the primary job naman po ng PNP. But if we will be asked also to assist, we will be more than willing to assist po and help po the Senate po.
But there has not been mobilization from the NBI to the Senate at the moment.
Wala po, wala po.
Okay.
Unless si Senator Bato will be there, then we will be there po.
Speaking of speaking again of Senator Bato, do you guys have any strong leads at the moment, or
Meron po kaming sinusundan.
na ano naman, it's a strong solid lead?
I will hope na ganun po. Pero seryoso po namin binabantayan at nagsisurveillance po.
What
Okay.
about for Monday? Kasi mukhang magkakaroon na naman ng konting excitement dyan. 2 grupo na naman yung lalabas doon.
Konting
Meron ba kayong
excitement.
mobilization on the part of the NBI? Although medyo pulisya tayo.
Yan.
Saka Sergeant
Sa
at
Monday
Arms.
po, nandyan po ang NBI because we were invited as a resource person po.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Di
But
mo kayo
not for
mahuhuli.
not for crowd, Hindi naman baka magkaroon na naman ng mga warning shot dyan, Wala namang gano'n, wala. Hindi, not for security.
No, not for security po. Ano po.
Okay. Invited kayo for which particular
Is it the Blue
issue
Ribbon?
ang haharap kayo dyan?
Well, I think yung tungkol po dun sa 18 Marines po.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Particularly, sir, itong nakuha yung bagong itong affiant, yung nag-execute ng affidavit.
I'm sure that will be included po.
Ang nag-invite sa inyo, yung grupo nila Sherwin Gatchalian.
Well, it was signed by the chairman of the committee po ng Blue Ribbon, si Senator Erwin Tulfo po.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay na.
Maraming salamat for
Thank you
joining
po.
us today.
Salamat po.
Thank you for
At
talking to
balik-balik.
us.
Thank you, attorney. Thank you.
Bok, pahabol may pahayag yung mga former Senate presidents
Yeah.
on the Senate
Si
Brouhaha.
Frank.
I think it's from Coco Pimentel, of course, Mig Zubiri, Tito Soto, and former Senate President Franklin Drilon.
Oh,
Basahin mo na.
Ang haba eh.
ano daw? Sabihin mo na.
O sige, I'll just
Just go to the meat.
the last two We call on all incumbent senators, regardless of bloc or affiliation, to de-escalate public rhetoric that demeans the Senate and weakens confidence in it, to confine their disagreements to the floor, and to the proper forums where the arguments and the votes can be scrutinized by the public, and prioritize the urgent work before the Senate over internal maneuvering. We urge all members of the chamber to resolve this crisis swiftly within the bounds of the Constitution, the rules, and long-standing practice. The country cannot afford an unstable Senate at a time of mounting economic pressure, security threats, and growing public distrust in institutions. So,
We
wala
have-
namang posisyon
We
doon sa
have
ano.
never seen an upper chamber like this wherein
Yeah.
it's all-out war. The gloves are off. Nagsasagutan na sila in very public forums, and you have senators calling each other names and so on and so forth. On Monday,
Kung sabihin ni Alan Peter, kayo nang gugulod dyan eh.
yeah.
Paano kung gano'n reaction? He has issued statements. He is asserting his
Of course,
his position. He is the Senate President.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course, he is expected to challenge this, no? But at the same
Yeah.
time, let's also not forget that prior to June 3, the majority back then had not been showing up to the plenary. They have abdicated on those days. And in fact, they also did not let the lower house know that they were not holding sessions, diba? Which goes against their own rules.
Kaya nagreklamo yung House.
Kasi hindi rin nila alam anong mangyayari. Like, nobody had any visibility on when the Senate under Alan Peter Cayetano might hold session, might hold plenary. They were paralyzed. They could not do anything.
Yeah.
They could not do any work.
Saka nag-issue siya ng statement na kapag yung impeachment, siya ang magpe-preside. Kaya kailangang i-settle nila yung issue na yan before any trial gets underway.
That's that was a question on Ed's mind, no? Sino yung magiging presiding officer?
Oo. Kasi sa ngayon, di kanya-kanya silang preparation ngayon. Paano? Although nagsalita yung House impeachment team nga eh. Sabi nila, kung ano man yung magkasabay-sabay yung message sa kanila, ang susundan nila, yung grupo nila, Sherwin Gatchalian. Dahil yun ang position ng House.
What have people said to you, Ed?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Text ka ng text.
Yung sa impeachment.
Yung impeachment.
Sinabi ng House,
That was also
kapag
your question
nagkasabay daw ang
before.
message from the two blocks,
Yeah.
ang susundan nila yung kay Sherwin dahil yun ang position ng House leadership. We are recognizing Gatchalian's group.
You know, in our discussion yesterday with Rafi Tulfo, may binabanggit sila na na meron silang, I'm not sure if it was a proposal or if it's already been decided on by the new majority, that they will have an impeachment manager.
Impeachment manager.
Yeah.
Hindi kasi hindi abogado si ano daw.
Oh, hindi abogado si Win Gatchalian.
Okay.
Kukuha
So, kung
sila
sakaling-
ng one of the lawyer members of the Senate.
Kung sakaling ipipilit o mapipilit nila na the new majority can put Gatchalian there as the presiding officer, merong impeachment manager of sorts.
And what will this impeachment manager do?
Para sa procedure siya tayo, kung sakasakali.
What will this impeachment
Although I'm
manager
sure
do?
mahilig mag-review tong si Senator Gatchalian,
Yun nga eh.
nire-review na niyan
Dun nga,
sigurado.
dun sa legal aspects because you're only looking at two people who are lawyers in the new majority, that's Kiko Pangilinan and now you have Jesus Cordero.
But you don't need to be a lawyer. This is sui generis. They are acting as
Yeah.
senator judges.
Yeah, but you're also acting as a court.
Yeah, but sui
court siya.
generis.
So meron din ng meron
Hindi mo
din-
naman kailangan maging
meron din
abogado.
May, there are certain
But there are in-house Senate counsels, and also merong obviously the lawyers from the defense and the prosecution
that's
sides.
true, but when you're on the rostrum, you don't want to be corrected
Oo,
in front of
nakakahiya.
everybody.
Oo,
di ba?
nakakahiya naman.
Impeachment
Tingin ka ng
manager.
tingin dun sa
Can
paligid.
you imagine? Teka, let me consult first the legal counsels. Di ba? Hindi pwedeng ganun.
Saka
you're
titingin-tingin
presiding
ka
over
doon.
an
Left and
impeachment
right,
trial.
tingin-tingin ka.
Teka, time out.
I don't,
Oo,
I don't
hindi
know.
pwede.
I
No,
don't
no,
think
it
there's
was
a
the first time I
huge
heard of it yesterday,
trouble
but
of-
I haven't checked yet if it was already a decision by the majority or only a proposal that's being considered.
Wala pa,
na
wala pa.
magkaroon ng ano.
Wala pa.
Kasi nga, I haven't read of it yet eh. So, it might be a proposal
Ah.
pa lamang.
Kasi
That we have to check
remember,
on.
i-compare yung
And-
presiding officer na yan kay Juan Ponce Enrile.
Yeah.
And by the way,
And he got a lot of
managed
praise for his
Coron
handling
impeachment.
And
of
by-
that impeachment court.
in any case, there's a lot of Senate staff that are also lawyers. A lot of them have lawyers for
Yeah.
as Senate staff. So, but
Let me
it'll be
put it this
interesting.
way.
Impeachment
All the
manager
senators have lawyers in their staff.
course.
How many of them,
are.
when they speak about the law, how many of them are really...
You know what that comes down to? Kung nakikinig ka ba sa staff mo or not? Are you doing the work or not? Right? Some of them are very diligent about filing bills, studying the issues. And some of them actually read the bills before they sign. We know
Yeah.
that for a fact. Yung iba hindi
But in this
nagbabasa.
particular case, you have somebody who's going to be at the rostrum, governing or managing things and making decisions on the fly. Not somebody who
Yeah.
just stand up
Instant.
and make a speech.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
true.
instant.
That's true.
But then again, it's something we have to check, whether it's something already decided on by the majority or something that's just being considered.
I guess
Wala pa.
it's not
Eh baka pinag-uusapan
I
nila
guess
ngayon
it's
yan.
not the worst idea. Okay, before we end, I just ulitin ko lang yung message from the AFP, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, which is dissociating themselves from the so-called 18 Marines. It's a long message, but part of it reads, some reports have collectively described them as Marines or ex-Marines. It is important to note that they were no longer in active military service at the time of the acts and allegations being discussed. It should also be clarified that not all of the individuals concerned are former members of the Philippine Marine Corps. As such, the use of the term Marines may unintentionally suggest institutional involvement by the AFP or the Philippine Marine Corps. We respectfully encourage the use of the individuals' names or simply refer to them as witnesses, affiants, or former staff bodyguards of the concerned personalities as appropriate. That is a request from the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Stop calling the 18 Marines daw.
Kami tawag namin ex-soldiers. Kasi I think they really are all former soldiers.
Were they all?
Iba-iba nga lang ang unit.
Di ba yung iba dishonorably...
Iba-iba unit nila.
Yes, some of
Yeah.
them were dishonorably discharged, but I thought there was
Yeah.
one or two na hindi...
Former
never-
soldiers sila.
Never naging soldiers.
I think may
Was
one
it
or
all?
two na
One or-
parang kafgu,
Yeah.
Paramilitary.
paramilitary. I think if I remember correctly.
Para generic na lang, 18 men.
Which 18
That
men are
sounds,
we
Wala naman
talking
ibang
you know, that
18
sounds
dyan eh.
sexist, no?
Wala naman 18 eh. Di 18 men.
18. Ang request
Ang
ng...
nire-refer lang natin ngayon is the 18. Kasi hindi mo matawag na are they resource persons, witnesses, what?
Ang request ng AFP
Hindi pa natin na wala pa silang eh.
Ang request ng AFP called them 18 witnesses or affiants or
Hindi pa masasabing eh. Hindi pa masasabi.
18 alleged former staff of Zaldico or
Kaya hindi pa natin alam kung affiant nga kasi they were changing her affidavit, di ba? Yun yung
Just
issue
call
sa
them
kanila
18
ni Ping
people.
Lacson.
the 18
Kaya nga 18 men na lang, accurate yun.
the
Okay, sige,
18 ano what do we call them? Ayan.
Wala naman ibang 18 eh, di 18 men.
Kasi sinabi natin to dati that not all of them are Marines and in fact some of them were dishonorably discharged. Pero here today you have the AFP officially putting its foot down saying stop associating them with us. Okay. Thank you for
Goodbye
joining
na.
StoryCon
Happy
today.
weekend na.
Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Join us again on Monday, 4 p.m. of course, for StoryCon. Have a great weekend. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao, kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.